What's up, everybody? Nate Allbaugh here, head football coach, Judah Christian School in Champaign, Illinois, alongside
Tim Turner, head football coach of the Champaign High School.
And David Freeze,
Our
official
man,
microphone holder. We got to remind ourselves, we got to speak up.
Right.
Because I turned some of the settings down. As you guys know, they've been following us a little bit. Just trying to get a little bit better every day at this whole live setup. It takes some work. Let me see if I can get us over here to see if we can get our or view our comments.
We are new for 2019, baby. Got some new setup going, a little new works.
First live video for 2019. We've got a monitor over here so that we can see your comments if you have any. So please check in. Even if we don't respond, man, tell each other where you're from, where are you watching from, where do you coach, anything, right? Check in. And, of course, as you disagree with us and or agree with us, chime in as well, especially when you think we're wrong. You know, again, the whole reason for investing in a live setup was so that we could get others involved in the conversation.
Right.
And that's what we want to do. And today, kicking things off with some conversation today and tomorrow, talking about basically kicking off your 2019 offseason. For me, I've always kind of, for the most part, even though there's small things, taken off until Christmas break.
Right.
And then when we get back from Christmas break, for me, I feel like now we start our off season.
Sure. And I kind of adopted that as well. When we got done, a lot of times you go through a season, if you're fortunate enough to have some a playoff run, you've practiced and played for now 10 to 11 weeks. A lot of times you just need some time away. Right, and that was what I felt like I needed. I felt like my kids needed to not hear my voice for a little while. I felt like my kids needed to do their own thing. Now, yes, I encourage them to work out and continue to put in work on their own with one another. But I thought it was important for them to just be away from me, for them to not continue to hear my voice, on them for another 3 months. When we start in January, things are going to roll pretty hard. So I thought it was important.
That's the thing. It is important. And I see guys are checking in. Coach Gardner says, I have no audio.
Okay.
Sheffer says, my audio seems low. Let me test something here.
Let's see what's going on. All right, Coach Weave 88 says he can hear just fine.
All right, maybe someone get Coach Gardner. See that volume button on your thing? I think you got to turn that on.
Right. and Coach McDonald, Todd McDonald,
he already
just disagrees. That's perfect.
Well done. Well, again, we're working on this. I don't see any problems on our end. But again, we're getting better at this. And please, thank you for chiming in and letting us know what's low, what's wrong. Oh yeah. So gets better when I crowd old David Freeze.
Okay.
That's the key. We both got to speak up.
All right, no problem. No problem.
Turning up the volume. And I liked what you said, and that the kids. So as I get ready to gear up for 2019 for getting back to school and getting my kids lifting again. That's the thing for me, right? Getting those off-season workouts started.
Right.
I kind of felt a little bit of, are they ready to hear from me again, right? So I do think that's important, just like you said, to have this period where they don't have to, they don't have to worry about getting chased down by you.
Right, because what I worry about is that if for the full year, all they hear is, hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. At some point, that may fall on deaf ears, right?
Yes.
They may tune you out. I'm a parent. You're a parent. You know how kids, teenagers particularly, will tune you out after a while, and that this is no different. So I think it's important.
And of course, how many of you coaches out there? Let us know in the comment section. You see kids choose a different route in the hallway.
Yeah, because they see you coming.
Yeah, they see it, right?
Yeah.
And they know the routes where you aren't.
And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of sucks, right? I mean, because being the assistant coach for so long, that wasn't the case, right? Kids come right up to me because they don't mind lying to the assistant coach, or they don't mind the assistant coach not knowing that they're not talking to them about them being at weights. But when I put on that head coaching hat, you see so many times, here's a kid coming and I'm coming, and next thing I know, all of a sudden there's something else for him to do. It's like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to see Jimmy in the weight room today.
Yeah, exactly. They will dip, man. They will find a way around seeing you in the hallway. Again, coaches, thanks for chiming in. We got 9 watching. That's outstanding. Guys have already chimed in. Coach Weaver, Coach Gardner, Coach Sheffer out of Virginia. Chime in, check in, tell us where you're from. Coach McDonald out of Fort Myers. So super excited to see all you guys with us. We're talking about just getting our off-season going. And for me, getting my off-season going means starting to get the attendance chart out. At least it means now I'm going to start keeping track again, right? And for us, we want to track when you've been there. And Moreau Forsyth, Josh Joseph over at Moreau Forsyth here in Illinois, said it best, and I can't remember his exact thing, but they're going to track it, and then they're going to make it public. They're going to publicize it, right? So track, record, and then publicize it.
Yeah.
So they're going to make sure you know, and that goes for your records, personal records. Yeah. It goes to your attendance, and that type of accountability is what helps numbers grow.
Well, I mean, and now this day and age that we're in, everybody wants to see their stats up there.
Yeah.
And everybody, we're kind of in this look at me type of world. So when you're putting up those results, when you're putting up, hey, Johnny and Michael have been to the weight room 5 times this week, and Martin has only been there 2 times, right? That starts to speak volumes to one, your commitment to what's going on. But when kids start to see that, that's that kind of a pressure. Hey, man, where you been? How come you're not in the weight room? Those are things that I think could be very motivating to kids, especially nowadays. When you start to post those things on Twitter, or I think one of the things that we'll do is our weight room that we use is pretty much a universal weight room. Everybody in the school uses the same weight room.
Yeah.
So that's where we'll post some of our stuff is in that weight room, so that as everybody's coming through, they can see that. Who's showing up? Who's working out? Who's working harder? Who's growing in there? And whose weight's growing and who's not growing? I think those things are important.
And this is where the kids start to duck you. It's important to find that balance between I want to hold you accountable and motivate you through the accountability that we have, publicizing records, publicizing attendance, without necessarily shaming a kid.
Sure.
I went through a time in my coaching career where if you won't join us in the off season, I don't want you in season.
Sure.
And then I changed my mind.
Yeah.
And that was probably some 7 to 8 years ago. I changed my mind. And really, if you'll show up August 6th every day,
yeah, we'll take you.
I'll take you.
Yeah.
However, we're better if you're with us all the time.
Right,
okay,
right.
So where's that delicate balance?
It's going to be better, yeah.
Where's that balance between I need you here, but if you absolutely won't, I still want you excited about the game, because if you'll join me every day and be dependable on August 6th,
we can still use you.
You can help the team. Right. You really can. Right. So that's one of those things that you as a coach, that's an art. I think it's an art that you can improve on. That some guys are better at it than others.
Right. Well,
can it be learned?
I think one of the things we started to do, as you in your last couple of years, was we started to give some incentive for those kids who were showing up. A T-shirt here or there, things like that. Which it doesn't say to the guys that aren't showing up, hey, you're not a part of our team. No, it says to the guys that are showing up, hey, you're going above and beyond. You're doing a little bit extra to help our team get a little bit better. And I think that's the way to go about doing it without necessarily shaming a kid. Because here's what I've told my guys going into this offseason. And when I say my guys, I'm talking the rest of my staff. I've said, we're going to coach the ones that are there.
Right.
We're not going to worry about who's showing up.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah, and I'm saying these things. I don't know. Got coaches. I will tell you how well that works. But what I'm trying to tell my guys is, we'll worry about the guys that show up. We're going to open up the weight room 4 times a week, and I don't care if there's one kid in there. We're going to coach that one kid up as hard as we can. We're going to make sure that one kid is doing proper technique and really pushing himself to get better, because that's all we can do. I don't know about other states, but I know here, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still kind of learning some of this. We can't make it mandatory. I can't say it's mandatory for them to be there. Is that true?
It's one of those things. First of all, you control the playing time.
Sure.
But no, it cannot be mandatory, because if it was mandatory, technically that would be considered part of the season.
Sure.
I think that would be my interpretation. Let's check in with some guys over here. Coach Steve out of Glenbard East, good to see you, man. And Happy New Year to you guys.
Appreciate
Coach Sheffer.
You guys for joining us.
Sheffer says they started workouts yesterday. The first 2 weeks are optional. Third week is official. Kind of like that. Maybe giving yourself a couple weeks back to chase kids.
Yeah.
Without, right? Rather than you come back and by Friday you didn't show up. You already feel like you're behind.
Yeah.
Or if you're that kid that missed. You
Yeah.
feel like you're behind. You know, kids are funny sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I couldn't make it right away. I start feeling bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start convincing myself why I'm not a football
I shouldn't
player.
go. Yeah. So I've missed all weights during January, and that turns into, well, I think I'm not going to play this year.
Right.
I don't think
I'm just too busy for this.
Because I'm working. I've got a job now.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
You want to avoid that.
Coach Steve from Glenbard East checks in. Coach says they have the weight room open for all, which that's one of the things that we kind of did at Central a few years where we had open weights. So at the end of school, that we'd open up the weight room and whoever wanted to come could come. And that's still kind of how I'll do it this year. Is whoever wants to come can come. Now it's going to be our football workout. It's going to be a very football oriented workout. But whoever wants to come, feel free to come.
Yeah.
And what I found is last year we snagged a couple of soccer players because they just wanted to come and work out, and then ended up, they kind of liked being around the program and ended up, hey, I'll try this out. Now they played soccer and played football, kick for us. But one more number in the program is great, and however you get that, to me, and that goes that goes on to my next thing about off season. I think one of the biggest things this off season will do when we get back to school will be in-house recruiting. I think that there are several kids walking around my building that just aren't playing football for whatever reason, and it's like, here's the time to start to go and get those kids. And that, for me, that in-house recruiting will be, I'll recruit those kids pretty heavily and try to get them out there for the next couple of months, right?
Yep.
For the next couple of months, and then, if a kid that I've had my eye on, I've tried him for January and no luck. I've tried him for February and no luck. Then I'm going to, kind of focus on, all right, he maybe not want to be with us. But I think this off-season time is a real good time to start doing some in-house recruiting as well.
We're getting some really good comments over here. Coach Weaver suggested checking out Culture and Coordinator on Twitter. I like some of Coach Gartner's thoughts here. I've only read them partially, but, he says, need deadlines. It's human nature. I liked running a powerlifting meet mid-February. Great idea. You and I talked about that forever, and we never pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Short-term
like
focal point. A lift-a-thon is a good thing.
A lift-a-thon mid-season?
I like this thought where he says a 6 to 7 week short-term focal point. Like that's short-term. I like it because, as he went on to say, December to August is too long. It's too big for kids. You can't see that far ahead. What's Martin say? Martin, what's it say? Quiroga, would you say? Coach Q from George Washington High School, east side of Chicago, checking in. Thanks for checking in, Martin. Great to see you, man. Great to have you here. And we're just talking about getting the off-season going. All right, let's change gears a little bit. Okay. We always want to try to control our time, even though we love to. We could go forever.
Yeah.
We'll control our time. Let's just change gears here for a second. I want to come over here and show some people. First of all, something I want to suggest. When you go to, darn, I just adjusted the wrong thing. Okay, one thing at a time. Something I want to suggest. Publicizing.
Sure.
Right? Now, us coaches, we're all over Twitter. But I did a poll last year, and I was taken back a little bit, and I've told you about this already, about how many of my kids were not on Twitter but are on Instagram.
Sure.
So I polled my entire high school, and it was nearly 90% Instagram.
Really?
90% Instagram and not Twitter. Only about 3 to 5% were both.
Right.
And only 1 to 2% were Twitter only. My whole school, not just my kids, not just my athletes, Instagram. Right now, guys, your kids are on Instagram. I didn't know this. I went around the lunchroom and I took a poll. So I would encourage you guys to go to your own lunchroom and poll. I mean, it's a fun poll. You get to talk to kids, and they don't feel like you're chasing them down for football stuff.
Sure.
And you just get to ask those kids one at a time. What are you? Which one are you? Which one are you? And you're not asking for their Twitter handles or anything.
Right.
You're saying, which one do you use?
Information. Huh.
I'm telling you, take a poll. So we found that everyone was on Instagram. So let me show you this. I want to just show you. So I went to Instagram. I really stopped posting on Twitter for my own stuff. Video capture, right? This is it. This is the one. There we go, finally. Okay, now I got to pull this one back out. So I went to Instagram. So let me show you our Instagram. I made it for football and for wrestling. You come back over here and make this even smaller still. Like, make us small. Sorry, guys. All you guys, did we lose all of our viewers already on YouTube?
We got plenty of guys still watching.
Okay, check this out. So I made our Instagram, Tribe Warriors OKG. So Tribe, that's us. Warriors is, these are my kind of guys. Sure. OKG means our kind of guy.
Sure.
Okay? And we post on Instagram. So this is for my football and my wrestling teams. Something else I highly recommend is spend money hiring a professional photographer to come out to your stuff. Hire one, use program, budget money. These little 5 to 10 second clips from games, it sure as heck beats anything you could take on your cell phone. I mean, look at the high quality of this. You got to have a real photographer there to get this stuff.
Sure.
But these are the things that you're flooding your kids with. These are where, and watch this, is one of my favorites. I'm going to show you guys this. This is where we post our tops, our leaders. We want to post our leaders to Instagram. There's a post, right? This was 1 year ago that one of our first posts, again, a new program. This was one of the first posts to go out. This is how we want to publicize top 4, right? Publicize your top 4. I always do weight classes.
Sure.
130 and under, all right? So I'll breathe for a second here. Any responses to the Instagram thing? How's your Instagram game going with your program, Coach? Or any of these guys over there? You or any of these guys?
My Instagram game is not on point. If I'm being honest, I am just getting on board with all this technology, and that really this is the way to reach the kids. And so, if Twitter has just been the one that I've just realized, okay, I got to get on this because I got kids that's what they really are doing. But this whole Instagram thing, it's something I'm gonna really have to look into and figure out how to make it a part of what we already do. One of the things that I'm gonna probably do is, we've talked about this in the past, is letting go of some of the programs. So I need to find a social media guy.
Yes.
Maybe somebody that's a little younger that is used to all of these things. I need to find a social media guy to run this. And that's something I'd suggest too, is have a social media contact person. Have somebody that is their job to do. You want to make sure that they are a person that is right in line with your thoughts and ideas of the program. But I think you hire somebody to do that.
For sure. Coach chimes in, Coach Ray, they're all on Snapchat. True. Yeah. Snapchat is a little more difficult, though, to control from your end. Here's our new wall. I stole this idea from Coach DeVries. Of course, I saw this idea from Coach DeVries, and I thought, now I'm going to do it better. So I tried to do it nice and neat. Our 200-pound clean club wall is beginning to grow. We got 3 names on that now. So we're excited about that. I got to remind myself to speak loud. But these things are just, these little artworks. Obviously, I'm an art teacher, so that stuff's more easier for me. Student interviews, these are things you can't do on Twitter. I guess you could, but I'm telling you, your kids aren't there. Your kids aren't on Twitter. They're on Instagram. So here's where I make my leaderboards, just over here in Microsoft Word. Or for me, it's Mac Pages.
All right, Coach Sheffer agreeing with me. He said, I guess I need to start an Instagram now.
That's where your kids are. It is where they are. So here's us, Tribe Strength, Power Clean, 141 to 175. And I go the top 5. And then what sports you play, and your max, right? So you can see all these things here. And just trying to keep them motivated. Of course, these are hanging up in the hallway.
Yeah. And I think the best part about that is the pictures, including those pictures of those guys. I think that goes a long way. Because, a lot of schools you go into, and the names are up there, and the weights are up there, but you don't necessarily have a face to go with that, right?
Yeah, they are.
You put a face up there, and that really changes how people are looking.
Let me tell you how I did these pictures real quick, guys. I think it's easy. So I grabbed one polo, and it was a big one, and they put it on. This is like after a workout, but they throw it on, they get their picture taken. You make sure there's a window behind you. And then that wall, that background you see behind those, I took the word Judah and our logo and just pasted it into a Microsoft Word document, huge, like 4 times, printed out like 10 of them,
right,
and just pasted it on the wall to make this wallpaper.
Ah, okay.
So now we got this backdrop.
Sure.
So now I put that in the weight room, threw on the shirt, get your picture, stand in front. Again, a window behind me.
Okay.
And it's just my cell phone. Bang, 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 bang.
What's the purpose of the window behind you?
Light.
Okay.
It takes your photo from and now it doesn't look like something that grandma took at Christmas.
And these are
it looks good.
What we're looking at now, those are cell phone pictures?
Cell phone pictures.
Really?
With a window behind me, a wall in front, that Microsoft Word straight up printout paper, and an old polo. Okay. And it looks fairly good.
That looks pretty good. Yeah. I thought when I was looking at those pictures, I thought, you remember the last time when we tried something like that, we actually had that camera, and I thought maybe you had something like that, but
cell phones are really better than those cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, surprisingly so. Yeah. So anyway, just want to throw out a couple ideas rather than just kind of talking, but this is how, for me, as I now get a hold of my guys now as they come back from break, now we're lifting, now it counts, meaning I'm tracking, and this is where we're going to publicize it. We're going to make leaderboards and publicize on Instagram.
So just back to where you said there, Coach Ray had a question. He said, because of off-season can't be mandatory, how many missed days would you forgive per month? His question is per month.
Infinity.
Just allow them to miss as many as they.
We will forgive infinity.
Yeah.
Now, that's a challenge, though. That's a challenge for yourself as a coach because it's not easy to forgive infinity.
Right.
You want to say the heck with you.
Right. Well, Coach Gardner comes in and says, the 80% attendance would get them a T-shirt. Any athlete in the sport automatically gets a T-shirt as long as they finish in good stand. I think that's probably a good idea. I think 80%, you can't expect a kid to really be there every single day.
Sure.
Things are going to come up. Things are going to happen. But I think there has to be some expectation that they are there. I know we can't say mandatory, but there has to be some expectation.
My favorite, and I'm using it still, is what we came up with 2 years ago at Central, and we made them challenges. Choose how many weeks you're going to go, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Right now at Judah, I'm 6. And we call it a challenge, which means you have to miss 3 or fewer. Can you get through 6 weeks with 3 or fewer absences? If you can, we will have a reward for you at the end.
Sure.
Okay? Helmet, stickers, T-shirts, you choose.
So let me ask you this question. I know when we originally started it, it was if you couldn't make the challenge, then you were out.
You're out till the next 6 weeks.
And that's how you still do it?
You can't join us.
See, I
on the 4th one, you can't join us anymore. We're not mad at you.
Right.
You didn't survive the challenge. Our attendance numbers, Coach T, you were with us.
They did go up.
Maybe almost double.
Yeah, but I got to be honest. That was one of the most difficult things. That was one of the most difficult parts about it.
To say no.
Right. To say, a kid's made it 4 weeks. Right. 4.5 weeks.
How many of those kids were there?
Yeah. We had.
I mean, you're talking about less than 3 kids that fell down on the challenge.
That's true. It
was like as far as like when they knew they were out, they didn't come back.
Yeah, they just didn't.
There was less than 3 kids that we had to actually say sorry.
Yeah.
Now, we'd let them finish their workout. Right. Hey, you can join us today, but you're done. You got to wait till the next. That's why I go on 6-week segments.
Right.
You got to wait till the next 6-week segment. You survive this segment, get a T-shirt.
And then it does make it special. It does make it special. So, and if you're going to play football, still go and lift, but you just can't do that with us. Yeah, I guess that makes some sense.
Yeah, I'd go. I mean, if you're serious about playing, go lift.
Right.
Just not with me.
had another coach, had someone else check in. This is Jack Lincoln. Oh, okay. Freshman student at Lawrence Tech in, Southfield, Missouri, studying mechanical engineering and also assistant fullback and tight ends coach. Welcome.
Student manager.
Welcome, Jack.
So a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And helping out with the football team. Because that's how you do it. Man, when you... I wish so bad I would have started young.
Yeah.
I started coaching out as soon as I was out. But I was so immature and ignorant that I didn't even pay attention until I was almost 27.
Yeah.
And stuff like this, you wouldn't have caught me dead as a freshman in college trying to learn.
Right, learning.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you.
I'm what can you teach me?
I said it in my presentation. When I started youth football, I thought I knew everything I needed. I watched enough football. I played some football. Right.
So, man, kudos to you, Jack. Well, let's get ready to sum this up. Let's close this out. Closing thoughts, Coach. For you guys at home, last chance to chime in and give us your closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are just that, I think as we get into this off season, the best things to do are kind of prioritize what's important for your program. I think for any program, weight training should be important. So once you prioritize that, I think then you have to come up with some way to make it engaging to your team. Yeah. I think we're past the days of saying, hey, just come in the weight room and lift because I said come in the weight room and lift. Yeah. I think we're just simply past those days. It's not any fun. It sucks to lift weights every single day, right? So I think we have to have some kind of incentive, something to push them, be it a T-shirt, be it some kind of challenge, be it making it fun somehow. I think we have to have something more than just come here and lift. And I think if you're able to do that, then you got a pretty good shot of getting some guys in there.
Yeah, and I guess for me, a closing thought would just be, don't run them off. I mean, it really sums up to that. If they'll commit to you in August, they could help you. Right. You just never know a kid who's willing to be with you every day. And I only say that, and I just turned 40. That's a lot of years of running someone off.
Sure.
Right? And I regret it. Yeah. I just regret it. I don't want to run anybody off. I want you to know that I want you to lift because you're going to be better and we're going to be better. But if you won't,
right? If you won't, there may be someone else that will, and he may be in your spot when you want to play.
Right? Yeah. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, you might lose your spot.
Right? You might not still be playing, but you don't have to show up.
What does it say? What Coach Ray say?
Well, I'm starting with Coach Steve. Coach Steve said he started at age 18. He thought he knew it all, of course. Yeah. Coach Ray says, what are you doing to pick the kids that would be first-generation football players? To pick up the kids that would be first-generation football players. It's difficult.
To me, that's why it's such an advantage to be in the high school.
Sure.
You get to know them.
Absolutely.
It starts with a relationship, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know of any cold call ways to do it.
No.
Although, if you want some ideas on how to pick up kids, over on the online clinic right now, still till maybe one more week, is Coach Pasolano. So all the footage on the online clinic stays up for 1 year now. Okay,
1 full year.
Once it's been up for a year, it goes over into the store. But Pasolano's is still up there. In Pasolano's 1 week, Dominic Pasolano on player retention, you talk about ideas to get kids from your hallway and keep them out. Because he was at a tough place.
Yeah. Where?
He was at Palos Heights Shepherd. Okay. I think now he's the freshman coach at Austin Westlake, where Drew Brees graduated from.
Okay.
All right. Well, those are my ideas. What you looked like you had a thought too before we sign it off.
I think I was going to say relationships. Yeah. It's about those relationships. I think you have to reach those kids past football. I think one of the things that I'm doing and trying to reach some of these first generation football players is go and try to figure out who they are past being an athlete. And if I can do that, then I have something that I can relate to them with. And if you're able to relate to them, then you got a chance of getting some of those kids out. That's my thoughts on it.
Good call, man. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. And if you didn't join us live, comment below. Let us know what you think. Follow, subscribe, all those things.
Hey, we're going to be
sign them off, Coach.
It's going to be a great 2019. If you haven't already signed up, go and sign up for the online clinic. There's some great content there. Coach and I are going to be hitting the highway here in the next couple of days, weeks, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys. Until next time, we'll see you. Coach, I got to bring it back. It's been a long time.
Do it.
Guys, until next time, love, peace, and hair grease.
I love it. I've been missing that too.